Alright, hell yeah. So yesterday on Sunday we got out to Missoula. It's 2 hours away from my hometown of Helena, and we did some surfing. Now we stood up in this tiny wave, and that's kind of the highlight. Pushing down with your feet on the floor gives your boat the best dynamics. We even do a little bit of side surfing in this hole while we sit in the bottom of the boat. And it's just fascinating how that releases the outer tube. So from an R1 design perspective, hell yeah. We also have our foam inserts underneath the thwarts for most of today. We kind of jam them in as best as possible. We were able to do a little stand-up right there. But mainly we're working on spins. And one of the directions, if I'm on the left side of my boat, that's the stronger side. And if I'm spinning on the left side, that's what we're working on. So what you can notice is that when we do spin, I'm getting my feet underneath me and then using that as a pivot. Alright, hell yeah. And, oh yeah, what else? Just working on high edge angles. This is a small wave. We want to edge our boat and just keep it from purling. And so, hell yeah, we kind of do that as well. Alright, this is a long format video, but we do stand-up comedy at the very end. So if you want to see Mitch Hedberg, Dex is dressed as Mitch Hedberg for Halloween. We bring him back and do some jokes. And it goes pretty well. Alright, hell yeah. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alright, hell yeah. So, we're in Missoula, we're at the wave, and booyah, it's a really nice day. We got about 4 hours of light left, you know what I mean? Maybe less. But, alright, let's do this. And we decided to put on the wetsuit. This sun just kind of popped out right now. But, hell yeah, let's get nice and hot. Pump up our boat, kind of makes that a little faster. And then I'm just ready to jump in, so let's do this. Alright, hell yeah. So I dollied my boat down here, you know what I mean? So there's the dolly, couple paddles, we just shoved them in the raft. And then we bring our pump, we got our pads. Hell yeah. I just wanted to show though, you know what I mean? This is the ramps I have, so I can't inflate the boat and get it down. So I gotta carry it a little ways. And that's the only thing I'm sensitive on my back is lifting. That's the only thing that's kind of sensitive to back pain. So hell yeah. Just a little dolly, and then we're going to take this all the way to the other side of the island. Hell yeah. Alright, hell yeah. We don't have our boat topped off yet, so I can show you that we have these chunks of foam in there, and I was just able to shove them in. Now I have all this material so my foot can't get trapped. So actually, technically, with this material, it sucks it up, so I do have a spot for my foot. But once the floor is all pumped up and the stored, I don't think there's any room to jam underneath there. But that is one option, you know what I mean? Hell yeah. And just to kind of show this corner, and we can see how it's looking, I have this glued up into here, so this corner, you know, technically nothing can get into there, but that is a high-risk area that if something did slide through there, that would be devastating. This thing's tearing apart, like right here, but it's no different. I mean, if I got my foot caught in there, yeah, I could kind of hook, but it could also come right out. So, but the corners are holding. I do need to re-glue that surface. All right, hell yeah. All right, hell yeah. So we're kind of pretty close to Missoula. Let's say we're halfway. We're going to do some floating, and we have to practice our stand-up comedy. And so, hey, it's been a couple years now, and I feel like I'm holding myself with some more confidence, and we can still be totally ridiculous. But hell yeah. And so this is just a shout out that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the type of person where someone would be like, don't be yourself. And, advice to myself, even 2 years ago, is like, hell yeah, be yourself, but put it out there. Someone was like, oh, I'm going to make movies and stuff. Hell yeah, even if it's just for something. Because if you're going to make something, unless you're not talking, I don't know, we can see your personality. It doesn't matter if you don't talk and stuff. And I don't know, just humans in general, yeah, we're just unsure of ourselves. And we know that life is a hell of a psychological game. That's why I love physics, because that shit will never go away. But no. The psychologicalness probably won't go away too. Even down to the amoebas, you know what I mean, fighting for their little space of jelly. Yeah, and that's where a physicist can be like, I can tell you exactly what's happening to the guy jumping off the bridge. I just can't tell you why. And so, alright, so hell yeah. And what we did last time, I need to get some water, because we need to kind of save our breath and stuff. But, we're going to go through why Mitch Hedberg is going to tell the jokes, or it's kind of, so here we go. So the first thing I do as Mitch Hedberg is come to the stage and just say thank you and hello. And we use our tagline first, all right. So it's all right, thank you, hello. And then we talk about why we're on the Conan O'Brien show. He's going to say that it's his second time on the show, and he's going to say that his first time went okay, so that's the punch there. And then he has a difficult transition for me, because he talks about summer drinks being ice cold. And so we have a way to memorize it, because he says but they say, like someone else is saying, but they say. And after the word say is a D word, but they say drinks. And then I got into my mind to memorize that it's the summer, S word, D word, and then another D word. But it's not, because it's that drinks. So it's, but they say, I don't even know, but they say during the summer. They say during the summer. But they say during the summer that drink. Oh, so it's, yeah, I'm messing that up. But they say during the summer. But they say during the summer that drinks are ice cold. I think it's that. Yeah, there is no the. They don't say, but they say that. But they just say, but they say during the summer that drinks are ice cold. So the word say is an S word, and that's got two D's on the other side, but it's that drinks are ice cold. That's how I'm going to memorize it, but it sucks. Let's try it out. But they say during the summer that drinks are ice cold. I hope not. And that's the punch right there. I got to stop. This next part is very difficult. I have to say, I don't even know what the hell I say. It's like two words, and then I can go into like the contraction part. But that's the first joke, man. It's really difficult after, saying, that means my first time must have been okay. But they say, but they say S to D and then that drinks. But they say during the summer that drinks are ice cold. I hope not. Because that means, that's the two words. Because that means, and I can take a pause right there as long as I want. Because that means they'd be impossible to drink. And there's the contraction, they'd be impossible to drink. And he does talk hella fast. But then he skips the contractions and then he says full words. Because they would be ice cold. And I'm not saying he does those specific words and contractions for every set. It's just this set, and I want to mimic it. Because it's a Conan set. And it's like, hell yeah, if I got on a late show, I'm going to have jokes that aren't going to crush. But that's the cool thing about this set, is he makes it funny throughout. And even so hell yeah. But they say during the summer that drinks are ice cold. I hope not. Because that means they'd be impossible to drink. Because they would be solid. Hey Mitch, here's a beer. It's ice cold. Damn it. I guess I can lick it. And this, honestly, for the first joke being difficult, a tongue twister, and then a very unfunny joke, this next one, but it sets me up with the mic stand. So this is an MTV joke, and then after it I have to know to grab the mic stand and put it in front of me. So I read that last year MTV's Real World got 40,000 applications. That's amazing, man. Such an even number. You think it would be like 40,008, maybe. Then grab the mic stand. Maybe. And I can say maybe because I think that's funny that he uses an even number as well. I think that's part of the joke. He knows it. He knows it. You know what I mean? Whatever. It's Tribonos. That's Andy Kaufman right there. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, what is that? Does he not know that's an even number? Anyway, it messes with you. You're just like, it's aggravating. But yeah. All right, get the mic stand in front of me. I got a lamp in my hotel room, and it has a 3-way light bulb in it. And if you don't know a light bulb is a 3-way light bulb, it messes with your head. Because you go to turn it off, and it just gets brighter. Like, damn it, light bulb. That's the exact opposite of what I want you to do. Turn it again, it gets brighter once more. I will break you. And as in Dex, that's all we got to do is just, you know, he does it more like I can do it longer. Okay, hell yeah. That is the only reason I had this thing out here. That's the mic stand, put it back. And then it's the crushing joke. I gotta remember that because it's his commercial joke. And we were supposed to just be talking like our way through. But what's after the commercial joke? Because after the commercial joke, then I think we do a lot of little ones, like the hippopotamus, and then the BB gun, robbing the bank, and then the belt. And then that sets us up. Once the belt's done, though, then we go into the drummer, and that's the dumb one that he wants taken out of the set. And then that's my page 2, and I'm just gonna, you know, so this is the first page and then the second page. All right. So hell yeah. So after putting back the light stand, yeah, man, because that can take some time. Be like, yeah, man. I saw a commercial. It said, forget everything you know about slipcovers. So I did. And it was a load off my mind. Then the commercial tried to sell slipcovers, but I didn't know what the hell they were. Short ones. Is a hippopotamus, or a really cool hippopotamus? I want to rob a bank with a BB gun. Give me all your money, and I will. See, it's or. It's not and. Give me all your money, or I will give you a dimple. I will be rich, you will be cute. I got a belt that holds up my pants, and my pants have belt loops that hold up my belt. What the hell is really going on down there? Who is the real hero? That's the crushing one, so I have to know to go to the drummer one. If I was a drummer and I accidentally grabbed... It would be cool if you were a drummer and you accidentally grabbed 2 magic wands instead of drumsticks. You're pounding out the beat. Next thing you know, your drummer, shit, you're the drummer. Your bass player turns into a can of soup. And that's the only one that I don't think I'm saying the start right. Because maybe he said it would be cool if I think it just says, well, what do I say? If I was a drummer and I accidentally grabbed 2 drumsticks. See, he messes up on Conan, and I want to do that. Because he says, if I was a drummer and I accidentally grabbed... Because then when you repeat it, then it gives the audience like, oh, we already know he's a drummer and he's grabbing stuff. Okay, and then they can follow the joke so much better. So hell yeah. And this is first page, then we're on to the next page. Oh, I ripped it. All right, so... Oh, he says now. Now, if I was a drummer and I grabbed and accidentally. Now, if I was a drummer and accidentally grabbed, yeah, because why are you grabbing 2 drumsticks? You're doing it accidentally. And then it's just, this is a dumb one. So it's just like, now, if I was a drummer, and he has to have some sort of lead in. So instead of just saying, if I was a drummer, it's like, now, if I was a drummer and I accidentally grabbed, it would be cool if you were a drummer and you accidentally grabbed 2 magic wands instead of drumsticks. You're pounding out the beat. Next thing you know, your bass player turns into a can of soup. And I think when you grab the drumsticks, so now if I was a drummer and I accidentally, Now if I was a drummer and I accidentally grabbed, And then he pauses and he says, that would be cool. Shit, I broke this. That would be cool. And I just said, now if I was a drummer and I accidentally grabbed, it would be cool if you were a drummer. It would be cool. I don't know. For what do you guys do? That would be cool if you were a drummer and accidentally. Oh, so this whole process, and it's very important for those leading in words. Now, if I was a drummer and I accidentally grabbed, it would be cool if you were a drummer and you accidentally grabbed 2 magic wands instead of drumsticks. You're pounding out the beat. The next thing you know, your bass player turns into a can of soup. So there you go. So that joke makes more sense. It's the envisioning that now if I was a drummer and accidentally grabbed, it would be cool if you were a drummer and you accidentally grabbed 2 magic wands instead of drumsticks. You're pounding out the beat. The next thing you know, your bass player turns into a can of soup. And that's a really good one for the Halloween season. And I'm wondering if he did that one for Halloween. It's super cool to channel. Life sucks, man, and it's rough as hell. We just kind of do our best. And like I said, it's a fucking mental nightmare trying to stay on top, make sure your brain's good, share stuff with the world that you think the world's going to appreciate, and then just get caught into a trap of constant gratification from the world. You know what I mean? Ooh, brutal. Yeah, I try to. Anyway, all right, so hell yeah. So that's page 1. And then he says, can we take that joke out? Can we edit it? Page 2. I love cottage cheese, which makes me think I would like to try other dwelling cheeses too. And I think I'm gonna, I think that's, I got the I love cottage cheese, which makes me think I would like to try. So it's I love cottage cheese. That is why I want to try. And it's very important for me to get the words as close, as accurately as possible. I love cottage cheese, which is why I want to try other dwelling cheeses too. I want to try studio apartment cheese, or maybe igloo cheese, or if I'm feeling adventurous, mobile home cheese. Don't eat mobile home cheese during a tornado. It would be devastating. And then we go, so these are long ones. That's a long one, and we do another long one. And then we have to make sure after the Dr. Scholl's, we hit that short one with the fajita. That's what this whole set is centered on Conan, is the fajita joke. All right, hell yeah. So we just did the cheese one. All right, Dr. Scholl sells foot products, and he's a doctor, which means he went to school for a long time. But it doesn't take a lot to figure out that stepping on a cushion will be more comfortable. That dude wasted lots of time in school, because I would have bought that from a Mr. Scholl. And then the short one. I think they should make fajita cologne, because that stuff smells good. And then it's wicked, because this is hard to go. Oh yeah, and then the sleep, because he messes up on Conan. He says, I hate sleep. No, I like sleep actually. I hate dreaming, because dreaming takes a lot of work. No, because dreaming takes energy. It takes work. He just says because dreaming takes energy. It takes work. Let's do that one again. But what's the point of all this? We do the sleep one because we're trying to get a roundabout way. After the sleep one, we have to make sure we have another shorty that talks about sleep. That's the endangered animals. If you can't get to sleep is the lead into that one. And then we do 2 long ones, the donut and the lady. And if I get the light before the lady one shouldn't be, and maybe I should even be thinking about what it says at the very end. We say, all right, thank you very much, everybody. All right, thank you very much, everybody. All right, thank you very much, everybody. And he says, mush. All right, thank you very much. So all he says is, all right. So he says, all right. And he says, all right. He does not say all. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. And it's just, all right, thank you very much, everybody. All right, thank you very much, everybody. And that's just my mind thinking of what he's saying. I have no idea if it's even close, but it's okay. So after the Dr. Scholl's, because the Dr. Scholl, I would have bought that because the punchline is so good, it makes my mind not know where the hell to go. So that dude wasted a lot of time in school, because I would have bought that from a fuck. That guy wasted a lot of time. That dude wasted a lot of time in school, because I would have bought that from a Mr. Scholl. I hate to sleep. No, I like to sleep, actually. I hate to dream, because dreaming takes energy, it takes work. Sleeping should be a relaxing affair. I lay on a bed, it feels great. The next thing you know, I have to build a go-kart with my ex-landlord. And that's the longest, weirdest punch, but it's alright. Hell yeah, and that's it, that's that one. Final. I saw this lady on TV. She was born without arms. She was born with hands attached to her shoulders, and that was sad. But they said Lola doesn't know the meaning of the word can't. And to me, that actually kind of made it worse in a way. Not only does she not have arms, she doesn't understand simple contractions. Alright, thank you very much, everybody. Alright, thank you very much, everybody. I'm gonna mess up the last one, but that's it. Holy shit. So, how long did that take? 16 minutes to do a 5-minute set. Not bad, you know what I mean? And so we gotta get to the wave. I wanna do the wave with as much light as possible. But thanks for joining me on this. You know what I mean? Because this is the lead up to a presentation. Now, if I gave that, it's cringy as hell. But the second I get on stage, become Dex doing Mitch Hedberg, I think it will go over. You know what I mean? Because that's the most important. Stay Dex, become Mitch. Stay Dex, become Mitch. Hell yeah.
You're going to really love our next performer. I thought they were dead, but apparently they're back from the grave. Please make it nice and loud for Mitch Hedberg, everybody. The one and only Mitch Hedberg. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Hello.
This is my second time on the show. All right. That means the first time must have been okay. But they say during summer that drinks are ice cold. I hope not, because that would mean they would be impossible to drink. Because they would be solid. Hey Mitch, here's a beer. It's ice cold. Damn it. I guess I can lick it. Last year, MTV, it's Real World, got 40,000 applications. That's amazing, man. You think it would be such an even number? You think it would be like 40,008? Maybe. I got a lamp in my hotel room, and the lamp has a 3-way light bulb in it. And if you don't know a light bulb is a 3-way light bulb, it messes with your head. Because you go to turn it off, and it gets brighter. Like, damn it, light bulb, that's the exact opposite of what I want you to do. You turn it again, it gets brighter once more. I will break you. It is the only reason I had this out here. Yeah, man. I saw a commercial. It said, "Forget everything you know about slipcovers." So I did. And it was a load off my mind. And the commercial tried to sell slipcovers, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Is a hippopotamus, or a really cool hippopotamus? I want you to rob a bank with a BB gun. Give me all your money, and I will give you a dimple. I will be rich. You will be cute. I got a belt that holds up my pants, and my pants have belt loops that hold up my belt. What the hell is really going on down there? Who's the real hero? Now, if I was a drummer and accidentally grabbed, that would be cool if you were a drummer and accidentally grabbed 2 magic wands instead of drumsticks. You're pounding out the beat, and the next thing you know, your bass player turns into a can of soup. Can we get rid of that joke? Can we edit it?
I liked it.
I love cottage cheese. I love cottage cheese. That's why I want to try other dwelling cheeses too. I want to try studio apartment cheese. Or maybe igloo cheese. And if I'm feeling adventurous, mobile home cheese. Don't eat mobile home cheese in a tornado. It would be devastating. Dr. Scholl's makes foot products, and he's a doctor. Which means he went to school for a long time. But it doesn't take a lot to figure out that stepping on a cushion will be more comfortable. That dude wasted lots of time in school. I would have bought that from a Mr. Scholl. Or a Senor Scholl. I wish they made fajita cologne because that stuff smells good. I hate to sleep. No, I like to sleep actually. I hate to dream because dreaming takes energy, it takes work.
Yeah.
And sleeping should be a relaxing affair. I lay down on a bed and it feels great. And the next thing you know, I have to build a go-kart with my ex-landlord. Hey, if you can't sleep, count sheep. Don't count endangered animals, you will run out.
Oh.
I got a donut and they gave me a receipt. I do not need a receipt for a donut. I'll just give you the money and you give me the donut. End of transaction. We do not need to bring paper and ink into this. I can't imagine a scenario where I'd have to prove that I bought a donut. A skeptical friend? Don't act like I didn't get that donut. I got the documentation right here. I saw this lady on the TV. She was born without arms. She was born with her hands attached to her shoulder, and that made me sad. But they said Lola doesn't know the meaning of the word can't. And to me, that seemed even worse, kind of. Not only does she not have arms, but she doesn't understand simple contraction. All right, thank you very much, everybody.
Once again, keep it going for the one and only Mitch Hedberg, everybody. And let's have a little round of applause for all of our performers in the BMW, please. Letting us do this every single Sunday. We'll be back.
All right, hell yeah. So this is pretty cool. So we did our comedy, and I liked it. You know what I mean? I think I'm going to... we're going to do Mitch Hedberg one more time on Halloween in Helena. But, it messes with you, because then you're just going to do everything in that fake Mitch Hedberg, is fake to me. Holy hell. You know what I mean? All right, so slow it down. But anyway, so we got some good feedback on, how to be a comedian, how to work on your 10-minute set. I was just thinking you need 10 minutes, but now you need 20. So that's 20-minute set is what we're going to be working on over the course of a year. So in December, that's my next show. It's going to be in the VFW, and hell yeah, that's an actual show or showcase, and I want to sign up for those, have something on the calendar, something to ruminate over, and then you gotta, like anything, you gotta stay healthy, not get sick, not get your anxiety up, yeah, the whole bit. That part in life is very difficult for me. You know what I mean? I would just rather have super low stress stuff where I'm not needed. You know what I mean? But we have to focus on, we can do it. We can get our sleep schedules, keep dialed in. But anyway, hell yeah, and that's a 7 to 10 minute set for that. So that'll be perfect. If I'm able to make them laugh for 10 minutes, that's what we're gonna do. The other thing, also in December, I do have a comedy event with NAMI Helena. So NAMI organization is the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and I'm going to do. They do a Christmas dinner banquet usually around the first week in December. So it's kind of a cool Christmas dinner and gifts for people with mental illness. A lot of people from different group homes, and it's just a real special time. Christmas for people that might not have family or you know what I mean. Hell yeah, you get 2 Christmases, and this is a good one. All right, hell yeah, I just thought I wanted to make a video just to tell you where I'm at when it comes to comedy. Is still, you know what I mean. I think we did good for Mitch. If I review my footage, I'm going to tear it apart. But no, I think we did good. We could have, when I kind of broke character, we could have gone more into the Dex. If I'm going to imitate a comedian and I strike out, come back to Dex. Don't come back to like who I am. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'll have to check that out because even without the hair, I would do this. But with Dex being like, I don't know if that joke's going to go well. But we have to look at those moments, you know what I mean? Those are your comedic moments where that's where you want your brain to, we actually want to just chill it out. Like, don't say anything. Kind of go paralyzed, but then your brain's spinning, and then throw it into gear. And then those are your opportunities to really crush, especially when things get a little off the rails. So, yeah, hopefully that was a good set. We're going to get some pizza, maybe show that, and hell yeah. Alright, hell yeah, we got pie holes. So this place is the jam. And I need to get in there and stop filming because we are famished. We need to figure out what Alright, we need to stop that. But hell yeah. Yeah, I need to get more blood sugar. Too much caffeine and not enough fats and oils and carbohydrates. Alright, hell yeah. So yeah, let's get a 360 for a show. And we're going to study some calculus. Probably not. I just need to get some fats and oils in me. My brain is fried, so we need to figure that out next comedy show. Because we hit the river so hard and we didn't bring any food. So, alright, let's eat this. Alright, it's so delicious. That's it. It's delicious. Alright, hell yeah. I don't know if you're a fan of pepperoni or Canadian bacon, but I am not. And so this has pineapple, but it's got sausage. Sausage is my friend. Hell yeah, and it's got onion. This is the best pizza I've ever had. Alright, hell yeah. So this is chorizo. So I was right on the pork. But hell yeah, pork and spices. And that is what has given its heat. This thing is fiery hot. And that's because of those chorizo pieces. So, alright, so I can't wait for tomorrow, so we stop doing this voice. We gotta get back to Dex. I like Dex. And it's kind of interesting how, we can always just return to Dex and then try out different things. Oh my god, this is driving me nuts. But hell yeah, Mitch Hedberg, legend.